Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, AJ2 Love. Back here on the podcast for Rampage edition for AEW on November 19th, 2021. Again, 1 hour format. Was a good show. Good show for Rampage. Prelude before Thanksgiving edition of Dynamite. Which is on Wednesday, and then Black Friday edition of Rampage. Uh, Next week, we got some more news on both those shows, so we'll talk about in a bit. But thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast, you want to see more pro wrestling reviews or AEW reviews, rather, click that subscribe there. Find all my videos on the channel if you want, but good. And let's get into the show, shall we? So, Rampage started off good fashion. Well, depends who you are, but Darby Allin opened Rampage. First Billy Gunn. Now, I was curious with how they were going to open the show because we know they kind of do their main attraction or biggest attraction first on Rampage. Here, they had their biggest star of Rampage open the show, but not necessarily their biggest match on the card. So, Darby versus Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn, you know, we all know pro wrestling side, know how long he's done this since the Attitude Era, and he looks as good a shape as ever. Like 58, near 60-year-old Billy Gunn, and he still looks like he's 20 years younger, really, the shape he's in. He was with his sons, the Gun Club, at ringside. Was a good match for what it was. Um, of course, big man Billy Gunn tossed around Darby, and as usual, a Darby on match. He gets beaten up, tossed around, and then finds his way to get the win. Builds up his opponent as good as he can, but yeah, they were on the outside. Billy tossed Darby around ringside, had a little stare down with Sting, and then back from break as Billy was continuing to beat down on Darby. Darby hit a coffin drop to the outside, which took out both Colt and Austin. Gunn, the Gun Club on the outside. Then back in the ring, Darby was tossed around again by Billy. Because he saw Sting at ringside, he kind of mocked Sting with the old Sting crowd woo, and then did the DX chop, and then went for a Stinger slash, but Darby got out of the way, hit a stunner, and then hit a cold red, followed with a coffin drop, which Billy kicked out of. And then went for another coffin drop, and Darby got the win. I mean, again, Billy Gunn, we know how he's featured here in AEW. Kicking out a coffin drop, I know Billy Gunn, the big guy, and they're trying to build up a little bit the Gun Club, but still, and when Darby gets the win, the Gun Club beat down Darby and Sting after the match. I mean, give or take, but look, both are young. Apparently, Colt or one of the Gun Club members is undefeated. One of the only, excuse me, one of the only guys left in AEW that have not lost, or people in general. I imagine that to change in the future, but okay match, I would say. So QT Marshall, which I know, excuse me, many people, including me, do not like seeing on really Dynamite, but here Rampage, I guess, okay. He challenged CM Punk because they're in Chicago on Wednesday to a match in his hometown, and later got some confirmation for that match. And so a good match, well, not really good match, but chance for CM Punk to beat down QT Marshall in Chicago on the Thanksgiving edition of Dynamite. And I imagine MJF or something will be involved with MJF after. So, I mean, for CM Punk to get some shine in his hometown, okay. So then we got a replay of the Air Circle's post-match comments after being named the Man of the Year and American Top Team at Full Gear, in which it was followed up by a backstage promo by the Man of the Year, who said they have not seen the last of American Top Team. Now, again, here's what I'll say. Junior Dos Santos looked good, you know, considering his experience with pro wrestling. He looked good in spots for his experience at Full Gear. Andre Arlovsky, he needs work. Now, obviously, he's still active as far as UFC, but because we know these guys look the part. It's just, of course, gotta put some more work in the ring. They're kind of green, really. So, yeah, Arlovsky Jr. gets more work in the ring. I imagine Vanderford, Paige Van Zandt's husband, is probably going to get some work in the ring as well. Maybe Paige. I mean, not sure what her status is with the organization she's signed to. So I'm not sure, but We have entered the last of the Men of the Year, and American Top Team. So then we got Jade Cargill versus Red Velvet quarterfinals in the TBS title women's tournament. This was, I liked the match. Jade, we know she still has a ways to go. Red Velvet, she's improving. And we know, of course, when we first saw this match, or first saw these two encounter, it also involved Shaq and Cody. Well, what these two women did on their own, very good effort, I would say. So they were exchanging in the middle of the ring. It was fast paced to start. Velvet caught Jade with a roundhouse kick, Sunder, and then Jade was on the outside. Velvet went for a suicida. It looked like she was short though, and Jade caught her with a right hand, which stunned Velvet, and then she hit a Uranagi on the ring apron, which then we go to break. Then we came back from break. Jade, she hit a bicycle kick, which stunned Velvet, and then she went for, not sure what you really call it, glam slam, chicken wing press slam, whichever. But Velvet countered off the ropes and wound up in a pin attempt for a near fall. Velvet then hit a spear on Jade for a 2 count. And then finally, Jade hit her finishing move, press slam, for the win. And Jade advances to face the winner of Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter, which we got a promo by Thunder Rosa, Miss Thunder Rosa, later in the show. I'm not really sure what she said. She was shouting some stuff in Spanish, nonetheless. They bleeped her, I think, but looking forward to that match on Wednesday. Should be a fun one. And then CM Punk responded to a Kingston, or excuse me, I got that match still in my head from Saturday, but CM Punk responded to QT Marshall later in the show. He said he hopes he brings that bad attitude but a good appetite because he bit off more than he could chew in Chicago. So simple that. Um, Good little short promo by CM Punk. Then the main event. So Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. I just realized now it may just be me, but with Christian Cage pretty much as a trio right now, we have not seen Marco's son in a while. I'm not sure what has happened to him, but just a thought. And then, you know, still with trios titles, I imagine coming in the future, these three would be a viable add to the mix for those inaugural champions. But we got this match here, reuniting of the former Undisputed Era members, Allin Cole and Bobby Fish, which I think we're all assuming that Kyle O'Reilly, when his contract comes up next month, he's going to show up here in AEW, and then 3 of the former Undisputed Era members will be in AEW. Roderick Strong, I know they still are into the Diamond Mine on NXT, but yeah, I don't see Roderick Strong really fitting in to the mold of Raw or SmackDown with Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon at the helm. That's just me. And I think many are thinking that as well. But enough about that. This match was a good match between the 4. Of course, we know all 4 can bring it. They mentioned, I haven't checked the rankings, that Jurassic Express came in as number 2. So that was taken into account. But hot tag to Luchasaurus after a beatdown on Jungle Boy. Luchasaurus cleaned house, went for a double chokeslam, but countered, and then Jungle Boy tagged in. They half Nelson press slam on Bobby Fish, followed with a tombstone cutter. Good move on Adam Cole for near fall. Then catching the dragon, aka Sasuke Goroshi, on Jungle Boy for near fall. Bobby Fish actually landed a tope. I was worried he'd be short, and I think Luchasaurus had that in mind. But still, Bobby Fish lands a tope over the top rope. Jurassic Express fired back with a powerbomb, sliding elbow combination for a 2. And then the finish came when the Young Bucks, who again are not medically cleared for action, they came down to ringside and they had some words with Luchasaurus. I mean, just like trying to back down, just saying they're here to support their friends. But then Christian Cage, who I'm a little surprised, but I guess for the finish here, Christian Cage came out of the tunnel with a chair, chased off the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole hightailed it as well, and left Bobby Fish alone. He got a pair of roll-ups on Jungle Boy for 2, but Jungle Boy walked on the snare trap. Bobby Fish got close to the ropes, but Fish was pulled back into the middle of the ring, and Fish tapped out in the snare trap, and Jurassic Express gets another big win on the resume. I had it in my mind when I saw some of the looks Christian Cage was giving. I was like, because many people thought months ago that Christian Cage would turn on Jungle Boy. And I thought maybe with the chair, maybe he could do that. No, he didn't. But still, Jurassic Express gets the win. Young Bucks and Adam Cole were up stage area, perplexed as they left Bobby Fish out to dry. So a good show nonetheless for Rampage. And yeah, we got some. So Wednesday for the Thanksgiving edition of Dynamite, we got Bryan Danielson versus Cole Cabana. Should be a fun match. Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa. Another quarterfinals match in the TBS title tournament. CM Punk versus QT Marshall, which I'm sure MJF will play a role before or after. And we got that big 8-man tag, the Death Triangle, and Cody Rhodes versus FTR, Malachi Black, and Andrade El Idolo. And then they also announced after the actions on Dynamite, next week on the Black Friday edition of Rampage, next Friday, Eddie Kingston goes one-on-one with Daniel Garcia, which we hadn't seen and 2.0 in action in a while on TV. Now, I looked at BTE the other day. I saw that one of the members of BT were the BT champion. So there's that. But it's good to see all three of those guys again for TV because Matt Lee and Trey Parker, or I believe that's his name, they both are charismatic. And we know Garcia is very good in the ring. We've seen him with CM Punk. We've seen him with Darby and John Moxley. Now he's getting in the ring with Eddie Kingston. So no slouches. He's definitely getting in the ring with. So interesting tests and good matches lined up for next week. But nonetheless, that's the end of the review and the episode, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back, of course, Thursday with the Thanksgiving edition of Dynamite. And then next week, be back with the Black Friday edition of Dynamite or Rampage, excuse me. But nonetheless, I'll be back. Thank you. Wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all. Be safe. Peace. I am Ajo 2 in Love. Peace.